Alright, everyone. Hey, we are back with the next episode of the Raiders Rambles. I am Joel, your chief host of the show, and joining me, as always, is my co-host, Noble.
Now, are we doubling up or doubling down today? Let's find out.
I don't know. I'm not particularly fancy of the idea of doubling up because I've been reduced to a puddle of sweat.
Oh,
Really.
yeah, the weather lately in Australia. Shit. I
Yeah,
can't even go
well,
out for a walk without coming home wet from sweat.
Well, that was my previous experience too, because I get to go to work and all of that, and I come back home puddle of sweat, especially in the nights. Ugh. Yeah,
It's insane.
it's messed. Anywho, joining us today, we have Avira.
Hello. Hey, what's up, guys? Yeah, super happy to be back. When it comes to you guys talking about how hot it was down there, yeah, we had a pretty rough winter here in the northeast of the US of A, where I'm at. Not gonna lie, it was like -10 degrees out for like 2 weeks straight. It was pretty bad. So when we got it super cold here, you're kind of feeling the after kind of reverberation effects of like the climate only the opposite way. So it's been super hot down there. Hopefully, when the seasons change now, it's going to stabilize out. For me, it's going to be spring. I don't think we're going to be seeing any more snow around here. So let's hopefully things cool down for you in like a more stable way. Whatever. But anyways, I hope everyone's having a super awesome Friday night or whenever you're listening to this. I don't know.
Oh,
We got some
oh yeah,
bonkers stories though. Oh my goodness. I was looking at
I
like one of those
know,
articles. Oh my god. It's
I
cute.
know, I know. Crazy.
I'm
Like I can't
excited.
believe half the stuff we've been running into now. This
Well,
week's nuts.
2026 has just already been a crazy year, just
I
news
know.
wise.
It's honestly just weird
Every
how
week there's
last
something.
fortnight there wasn't really that much to talk about. Oh, last week, sorry, there wasn't that much to talk about.
And then now
Yeah.
everybody's basically been talking about other stuff.
Like it comes in
And
waves. There's peaks
yes,
of ups
but
and downs, and it just gets crazy, and then not so much. Anyways, yeah.
all the glass and explosions and thingos aside, because that's not the domain. That's not exactly our domain. We have other exciting stuff to talk about, nonetheless. For you to sink your teeth into. Right. So, I mean, I know this came in just at the hot last week, and finally they're at it again for the 10th time. This time, Pokemon has revealed the next generation of you know, Pokemon that you basically are going to be your new companions to start with. Winds and Waves.
All right.
Yeah.
So, it says the time has come. The Pikachu said, to meet a starting Pokemon. Yes, with the announcement of the new Pokemon games, Pokemon Winds and Pokemon Waves, we officially have our Gen 10 starter Pokemon, Brout, Palmbon, and Gekwa.
Yeah.
And naturally,
And
they're as adorable as ever. What do we know about these Winds and Waves starter Pokemon so far? Well, enough to know to love them. Yes, join us as we dive into Brout, Pombon, and Guica. So these are
and
the three
he
flagship ones that they're trying to advertise here. That's interesting.
yes, and here's the screenshot of them. And if you're listening to the audio version, oh wow,
Oh, that's them?
oh
Oh
wow,
no. Oh, well, I just see an Angry Birds emoji for one.
yeah.
Uh, the other two. Wait, these are Pokemon?
Oh yeah, they have Pokemon. Oh, actually, wait, no, the one on the left here, the green bird
The
thingy. No,
Gilligan.
that's you're not wrong. It's not Angry Birds. It's Duolingo.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm
no.
sorry. It looked like it would be a character in Angry. It looked like if they put that in Angry Birds, that would look like an Angry Birds character. I'm just saying.
Oh,
Okay,
I believe it 100%. But my
but the other
goodness,
guy.
what has it?
Oh, what? How are these? These are Pokemon. Why aren't their eyes more like anime eyes? You know, like Bulbasaur or a lot of other types. Not all Pokemon have the anime eyes, but if they would have done that, I think it would have made the design a little bit better. Or more
Right.
more Pokemon.
With how long Pokemon has been going for, coming up with new starters is basically your hair-pulling experience. You'd be bald after the
Yeah,
first day.
it's rough. You're right about that, Noble. 100%. Because this is Gen 10, and they've already dabbled in weird types of evolutions and stuff.
And not to mention, like they're
Yeah.
basically at this point they've covered like the entire spectrum of the animal kingdom, practically, more or less.
When are
And
they going to
so-
have the chair?
Oh, I believe it. Though. Give it some time of furniture Pokemon. 100%. I believe it.
No. Under all seriousness, I think it was somewhere between before Pokemon got its resurgence as being hugely popular and when it had initially got started. Some comic thing had a chair with a face on it, and it said, I think it was a Gen 10 Pokemon. So it would be seriously fascinating to see whether or not there is an actual piece of furniture that is a Pokemon in this generation, because if there is, I wish I could find that clip.
I mean, after all this stuff, like, I like to think that after Pokemon Black and that, like, Pokemon design started entering the weird territory.
Oh, it went downhill after Black and White. I mean, seriously, if you want to watch something good, watch
Right.
Black and White.
But now let's have a look, see in close detail the designs. Okay, so we have Prout. The
Yes, the
Bean
Angry
Chick
Bird.
Pokemon, as it's officially described. Right. So yes, like you said, the Angry Birds Duolingo thing that's green, has big leaf eyebrows, and is a Chimken, as the main
Okay,
peeps
so
would call it.
this is Drought for Pokemon. Interesting. So it says the first one of our 10 starter Pokemon is Brout, Gen 10.
Oh, bro.
Oh, he's an Earth type. Interesting. So
Stop right
Brout
there.
is
Stop
our
right there. Stop right there.
Yep.
Earth type.
Earth?
You journalists have freaking failed so hard, because what? There's no Earth type in Pokemon.
Oh, he's not an Earth type Pokemon?
No,
Uh-oh.
no.
That's what they just said.
Ground. It should be ground, not Earth.
Oh, wait, no. It should. Or better yet,
why
they
would a
should have
bird
called it
be a-
freaking grass. These things
Or rock
failed.
type. Yeah, he could be a rock
Yeah.
type Pokemon, like Geodude.
Yeah, green's usually associated with grass type, though.
That's correct.
Yeah, you're right. He could be a grass type. It looks like his eyebrows are leaves, right? Look at that.
Yeah. That's
Could be.
it.
He's either a leaf or a rock.
And like,
Earth
let's,
type.
yeah, we're gonna wonder again. What does Sprout evolve into? We bet Sprout will sprout a whole bean plant on its head and start to look more like a chicken. But for now, we don't exactly know what.
Okay.
Yeah.
Joel,
I
what do you
mean-
think he could evolve into?
Oh, I mean, it's kind of hard to say at this point, but they're not exactly wrong in that if that's the direction they're gonna take. Like, it's got the bones clearly say it's gonna be a chicken, a rooster, and all of that. Like,
Yeah, so he'd
even-
probably grow like more leaves on his head
right.
to make it look like a rooster type.
Yeah. Now, next on the list, we have Bonbon, the fire little Pomeranian. It's gotta be that.
Kind of. He looks like it.
It's gotta be that, of course. It's a puppy Pokemon.
Yeah. Did you want to read this, Noble?
Next up, we have instant favorite Pom Pom, a fire type Gen 10 starter. Thanks. It's a puppy Pokemon. Yes, we are cooling it from the cutest. The official description of Pom status is area below. Its throat growls. Is it grows fluffy?
Glows faint.
Faintly from the heat generation organ within its lungs. The Pokemon is. Sorry, it's a bit blurry.
Right, sorry.
Oh, that's
Okay.
okay. So basically, this is the
That's okay.
description of what the
Aliveness and
Pokemon does,
friendly.
and it's saying that it breathes fire, essentially.
That's
Yeah,
pretty
well, it's
much
fire
it.
type. Why wouldn't it? It's
Yeah,
15
yeah.
pounds.
Wait, really?
That's a
15
little.
pounds?
That's getting into a little bit more details than I usually see in a fire type. Are they
Yeah,
expecting it to
but
be really
you've got to
popular?
remember one thing though. Pokemon and
Hmm.
scaling hasn't exactly been really great, especially
If you've got a
especially
fight, look, I get how Pomeranians are popular, but I'm pretty sure people would be a little bit more careful if they were breathing fire like that.
Yeah.
right, like
If
because
their lungs
there
are
are some
specially
dogs.
designed for it.
Yeah, and of course you know
Yeah.
that there are dogs that are little shits.
This one does look pretty floofy and adorable. However, I think what you guys said earlier about them running out of ideas, like it's a Pomeranian, like it looks just like a floofy dog. And that's actually a Pokemon, like in the Pokemon world. I'm sorry, I don't think it's it kind of looks just out of place or too generic and lazy. What about the third one? Oh boy, what do we have about that?
All right, here's the third
Oh,
one.
no.
Third one. Meet Gekwa. Pokemon winds and waves as water type starter Pokemon. Gekwa is a water gecko Pokemon. We get kind of a slight feeling from this little guy, and we right to feel that way. Gekwa launches springy balls of water from its tail. And there's a design. Those eyes are basically like this thing is just all eyes and no brain.
Right.
It's odd, like because this isn't the first time we've had a water-based starter Pokemon that's also in the same in the same lizard family line. We had that we had that other one too, and I couldn't remember what it was. But
My memory's
yeah,
shot
like,
right now, but
I don't know. It's still, I don't know. Gekwa.
so they're coming out in 2027.
yeah.
It's coming out in 2027. So is this like finalized designs yet, or probably?
I think it's pretty
from
much official at this point.
Yeah, it looks like they may just be in the manual polishing things off and then sending it all off for manufacturing or digital distribution, because I'm pretty sure they're not going to want to sell like full copies of the game on cartridge.
No, I think if they're doing one thing, it would probably be a more prudent move to not release it at the back end of this year and try next year, Especially if you consider that Pokemon now, people are basically getting up at Pokemon's grill because of the whole lack of quality.
Oh yeah, look, I haven't bought myself a Switch 2. I don't like the fact that it can brick itself randomly. Well, can be bricked at any point on Nintendo side for whatever reason they decide. I didn't like the last lot of Pokemon games they've released, so that's it. I'm not buying anything else that they're releasing because no. Sorry, it's one of the things that ticks me off. I was watching the trailer and it really pissed me off with the actual quality of the graphics that they used. So if it is the final sort of gameplay that you'll see, it's just a real slap in the face.
Right, because it's like you would think that they've basically used the same thing that they did in Switch 2's Legend ZA and then just kept it there as is. It's just
Legend ZA was I am so glad I didn't buy that one because it's literally nightmare. That's the only way for me to describe the actual gameplay itself. It's a freaking nightmare.
Right. Right, and now you've got all the Pokemon doing a whole. I think this year is going to be saturated with other Pokemon side games, like the the Pokemon farming one, Pokopia, and all the other stuff.
Well, don't forget, Pokemon the company has a whole dream thing now.
Yeah.
They monitor your sleep.
Pokemon Sleep.
Does that not seem like a creepy thing to you when you sit down and comprehend how they're like tracking your sleep?
Right, or your body signals or whatever it is.
Yep.
Yeah, I could never figure out how that whole thing worked, and yet it's a crazy thing to think about. But you know what? I think let's go back to the whole starters again. Like you go back, you look at the whole free designs piecemeal, and you compare it to the contemporary competitors that Pokemon has. And the designs they're coming out with. Like, what do you think? Like, does Pokemon's current crop hold a candle to the stuff that we're seeing in, like, Digimon and Animo as of late?
Until we get like a better look at what's being released, I couldn't say for sure.
Honestly, I mean, after watching all the stuff that Digimon's been coming out with in their anime series Beat Break since last year, nah, Pokemon doesn't hold a candle to them by a long shot.
Have you tried watching Pokemon Horizons yet?
Is relevant enough. No, I still feel like Pokemon is relevant enough where people are still going to be excited about a new generation coming out.
Right.
Because, I don't doubt that.
A massive spike in the market.
Look,
Avira, that depends.
Pokemon has a momentum going, and it's depending on how they handle it over the next, I'd say, couple of years. It could just keep going.
Mm-hmm.
It's also a well-known brand that a lot of people like, and I wouldn't be surprised if you've got a portion of the population that just sort of follow with it because a lot of other people do as well.
Yeah, of course. It's
unfortunately
stable.
The last couple of years with what they've been doing. I'm just burned out with it.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, fair enough. But for those even newcomers that want to get into the fandom or the community or whatever it might be, buying the game,
just don't go
Pokemon
card scalping. I mean, shit, that is embarrassing. There are guys my age, and they're acting worse than children when it comes to buying Pokemon cards. I'm like, it used to be fun to go in, buy a packet, take them home, and open them up, and go like, "Oh yeah, I like this one. Oh yeah, I like that one. Oh, this one's interesting."
Right.
And you got people turning around trying to figure out how to reseal the bloody packs. It's like shit.
Yeah, it becomes an obsession, and that's where it becomes unhealthy. But
look at Pokemon card scalpers. No, seriously, Google Pokemon card scalpers. You'll find hours of entertainment of people acting like complete idiots.
Oh my goodness.
It's like if you're taking an entire trolley of bloody packs of Pokemon cards and you see some father with a kid rock up, give the kid a box. You haven't paid for it yet. Show some generosity for fuck's sake. Sorry,
Okay.
just...
Yeah, right. So live comments and stuff. Okay, Boombox got this one. They need to make a Pokemon comedy spoof movie.
I don't think they can.
Right, like at this point, it's almost as if we're all waiting for like Pal World to have a TV series of its own, and even then, like let's just say let's leave it to the fans and all of that to create the whole stuff that you'd expect to see on Newgrounds or something. That'll probably be the better domain for it.
Yep.
Anywho. So to go on with the next thing, I wouldn't say for sure that this looks exciting, but let's just see what kind of other crazy stuff that Pokemon has hiding under its sleeve, all the way up until the game comes out, or we see a bigger, newer trailer.
All
or
right.
winds and waves. Yeah. But now, senores, senoritas, let us go to the item that we've been wondering for. Yes.
Let's
El
go,
Ferial.
Vamonos.
Ay, Dios mío. All right. Okay, the Therians. Where did the dogman trend come from that is causing panic in Argentina come from?
They're going to blame furries, aren't they?
I don't know. All right,
The
subtitle: The
dog
aggressive
man trend. That's
behaviors
a new
of this
one. Haven't heard that
subculture
before.
Hang on,
have,
hang on, hang on. Wait, aggressive?
quote unquote, aggressive behaviors of this subculture have sparked fear across Latin America. But how did it all start, and what should you do if your child identifies as a Therian?
Hmm. So is this
Yeah.
like a how-to guide? Like if your child or comes out as a Therian, what to do, how to confront this? What are they
I
talking about?
Well, Argentina is now gone this problem, epidemic, whatever you want to call it, to the Therians. The antics of these quote unquote dogmen, which include harassing and intimidating pedestrians, have caught the media's eye. But where did this subculture come from that has gone viral on social media?
Hang on. Are they actually attacking random people in the street?
Supposedly?
Oh, so it's
No,
because they're
I don't
acting in a
think so.
deranged manner towards
No, no,
others
no.
and not just between themselves. Right. That makes more sense.
Right, but be that as it may, it's like I don't know. I'm not sure. Or maybe I just think the Argentinian people are still perplexed about this newfound phenomenon of people like behaving.
Hang on. Can you enlarge it? Because I really want to read this paragraph.
All right, so next one here. I'll read it for you.
Incidences like the attack by a self-identified animal on a 14-year-old girl in, I don't know how to pronounce that city or town,
Cordoba.
along with reports of youngsters barking and growling at people in public parks, have given this group a vile reputation. They're simply following a trend that's been around for years in other parts of the world.
Right. It's not the first time
Wow.
it's elsewhere. But because remember, last time we talked about this, Mother Russia seems to have a problem with these sorts of teenagers
Yeah,
doing the
Russia
whole
though,
thing.
it wasn't. They weren't attacking people, if I
No,
remember.
no.
This
They
article
were,
does not claim that they're attacking furries directly. It seems like they're making a distinction between Therians and furries. So they're talking about something else.
Well, no, hang on.
there's the next. I'll get to that in the next
Yeah,
paragraph. That's where the distinction is from. Like again, often mistakenly compared to furries, who are simply fans of fictional characters. Therians are a community of people who identify as non-human animals, like dogs, cats, foxes, or wolves, either spiritually or
psychologically.
psychologically.
Right,
So
right.
yeah, and now again, it's crazy because you've got these people who are doing these Therian behaviors all over now. Doing
Okay.
yeah,
When we first brought this up, I thought this was just going to be, oh, look at these people being freaky. No, this is a real problem. This kind of behavior really needs to be stopped by parents. Yeah, fine. You want to get like a bunch of kids together and pretend they're animals, by all means, knock yourself out. But when it starts involving attacking people like that, no. I'm sorry. No, that you really got to stamp that out.
Yeah, and the fact that they're teenagers, they're as young as 15 years old, and they're dressing up with these masks and running around in parks and going after people and kind of just being disruptive, right? That's where you kind of draw the line at these things. If you want to go to a park and be a furry and have your mates, fine, do that and keep to yourselves, right?
Yeah, look.
Just
If they want to have rough play
just don't
between
harass
themselves and
people.
look, rough play between themselves and friends, fine. But random strangers on in the street, just no.
See,
Why'd they
they're
say
already
dog
doing
anyway?
this whole thing, just like that, like doing the jump thing, leaping in the parks of Buenos Aires.
I mean, that looks kind of fun. Okay, I really don't see a problem with that, so long as you do it in like a private area.
Well,
Like,
no, doing
whatever.
it in public's fine, but just as long as the people you're interacting with are, they consent.
Right.
Yeah. Like, is this tree on private property? Then maybe
It
they
looks like
shouldn't be
they're in a park.
loitering.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're in a park.
okay,
Yeah.
so perfect. So in
No,
that
look-
case, I don't see a problem with this. I really don't.
I have to wonder if it's just a small group of kids doing it, or if it's sort of like a growing trend.
It seems to be. I mean, like we said, compared to last time, it's like like Russian teenagers are basically taking off with the whole Therian quadrobics, whatever thing you want to call it, wearing masks and all of that.
Yeah,
Now
but I'm pretty sure
Argentina's basically facing this problem, and if like they said, Latin America is gonna go through this wave. I don't know. I think
don't
maybe
I
know.
wonder
let's
if it's a
bet
different thing.
the next two countries that are gonna have this epidemic of Therians are probably gonna be Chile, Peru, or Brazil.
No, I'm asking. Please
No,
bring it
no.
to Australia. Please,
I mean-
please. I want to see this explode in Australia. I seriously wanted to. There goes Vera.
Oh well, there we had it when he had it though. But
Okay,
You know
I'm
what, though?
sorry. This
Here's the
has
thing.
got me. What is it?
honestly, with the whole thing being down here in Australia, I don't think we're at that level just yet. Where where the kids in this generation, are gonna be that wild. Unfortunately.
I've seen a news story where toddlers decided to pour pretty harsh chemicals down on a mother and baby while they were walking along the street.
hmm
So, yeah.
Pretty- Okay, quick live comment here, Hershackle. I guess Therians are the furry equivalent of those aliens from Galaxy Quest.
There we go. I'm guessing so, yes.
Oh, right, yes. Half there, half thing. Well, they half poodled with all their fancy thing trying to be a mishmash of all that. Yeah. It's almost as if what if aliens basically looked down upon them and tried to imitate animals?
He's
Like,
back.
with their
Sorry about
alien
that.
body and all.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to ask, is there anything else deranged in this news article?
Yes. So let's keep going.
Thank you.
Right.
Well-
So let's look at the status of it all, though. It was the latest, the gathering of Therians. So the trend has taken over Argentine social media over the past few months, gaining traction on platforms like TikTok, where the hashtag Therian has surpassed 2 million posts, with Argentina leading all other Latin American countries in engagement. The search has drawn attention of influencers and media outlets alike, sparking reactions that range from laughter and bewilderment to outright anger.
Yeah. What I meant to say earlier is, what if some of these people, I'm not talking about this particular article, but when countries like Argentina support like Therians and stuff, or have things like that, what if it's just people dressing up as animals to convey a certain point? There's probably that too. In
I
this
don't
case,
think they're
I don't
trying
think
to
that's what it is.
protest anything. I think it's
Yeah.
just more like the furry thing, but yeah.
Right. So in this
Sorry,
case,
I just
it-
have
it-
to ask
it-
this,
it-
but what happens when a child's arrested for like biting someone who's a Therian? Do they go to the vet or do they go to the dog home?
That is the time-worn old question, is it not? Or do they have to get pushed together behind fit together in a cage?
yeah, well, that's one thing. They're not going to be able to have the same rights as animals do, even if they identify as an animal.
Avira,
And in this
that was a
case, they
perfect
would.
time to be sarcastic.
I know.
Right. So next things first, we're going to should parents be worried about the whole Therian phenomenon? Deborah Pedache, psychologist and director of the Integral Therapeutic Center in Buenos Aires, acknowledged that the phenomenon generates a complex mix of confusion, laughter, and even anger. From a psychological standpoint, this is a symbolic identification with an animal. It becomes pathological or alarming only when it turns into a deeply rooted belief and the person fully assumes the role of an animal, potentially leading to self-harm or hurting others.
All right. So if you're someone watching this and you've got a family member that's doing this, the only time you should be concerned is when it's a constant thing. If it's want to go outside and do it for like 2 hours and then come inside and act normal, not really something you should respond to. But if it's like a constant thing, you might want to get a good psychologist or therapist involved. I'm sorry, but that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, exactly. Same thing if you're like a guy who thinks he's a girl. You might want to talk to a therapist about that before you do anything drastic.
Oh no, the thing you got to be worried about is when people decide to pretend they are just to basically get a one-up in society. It's kind of fun how it's really popular these days.
Yeah, you're right. Seems to be. Weird.
So is there anything else about the Therians we can poke a stick at?
Well, what should you do if your child identifies as a Therian? Here's from the other article, though. Before we do that, though, quick live question from Shackle. Could going to the vet be a good way to circumvent ridiculous medical costs in the US? Well, if you are a Therian, that could be an option to consider.
I hate to say
it's
this,
a hit or
but
miss. I know veterinarians can charge a lot of money. But if you have a good human doctor, maybe your vet will charge more or less than the human doctor. So it depends on how you identify.
There is a trope in movies where people, when they need to see a doctor and not get anything reported, they go see a quote-unquote veterinarian. So it's an actual vet, but the person is trained with like dealing with people.
Okay.
The underbelly.
All right. So let's go back and answer this question. What should you do if your child identifies as a Therian? Well, according to recommendations from psychologist Carly Dober of the Australian Psychological Society, it's important for parents and caregivers to maintain an open and non-judgmental dialogue with their children and encourage safe and balanced participation in these communities. Help your child develop critical thinking skills by discussing the differences between imagination, belief, and reality, said Dober, who emphasizes that any community activity can be positive for development as long as it doesn't lead to social isolation, obsessive behaviors, or detachment from reality. Interesting.
Yeah, fascinating. Those 3 points there: imagination, belief, and reality. Yeah, so long as you can differentiate between those things. Yeah, okay.
There's also say not in the house.
Yeah. If you just want to be stern about it, you're like, all right, you know what? No. Shoot. Away with that. No. Yeah. That's a pretty hard line right there, too. And just clarify all the other nonsense. Okay.
Right. Yeah. It seems to be a big noticeable thing that the core demographic among it all is is teenagers, and we don't see any of this stuff from young adults or even things when they go past the age of 20.
Well, they're going through puberty, easily manipulated, a lot of hormone imbalances, stuff like that. It's a whole a difficult time period and just in development. So yeah, it would make sense that they would have some radical feelings about things, and that's why they're easily, could be conveyed into doing something that's harmful to themselves.
Yeah, and to
That's
think
why
it
it's
used,
unfortunately very popular with young people.
just to think it only used to be tattoos.
Yeah, right. Tattoos, piercings, stuff like that. Yeah, no, it's like, oh, join our club. Even though you're a tomboy, no, chop your healthy breasts off. Now you're one of us.
No,
No.
no. The thing that really concerns me is more some of the teachers lately. The whole it sounds like kidnapping.
It's weird, yeah. And the educational system, how they've kind of hijacked it.
Okay,
Cool.
look, I am absolutely serious, but I want to see this explode in Australia. I really, really do. I think it's going to be an absolute baller to watch people around me completely lose the plot over this shit. Kids becoming Therian.
Like next thing you know, like what? Next thing you know, in the most Aussie way, he says, "What the fuck are you doing, you cunt?"
Yeah, I avoid the park like the plague anyway, so I'm pretty sure I don't have to worry about dealing with it. But seeing it on the news would just make me laugh my ass off.
Right, exactly. Like, I want at some point, not gonna lie, I do at some point want to see a gathering of this, unironically at a park on the news in either here, the United States, Canada, New Zealand, Bongland, even.
Oh, you wouldn't be able to tell if England or not because of the way things are over there at the moment.
Right. Yes. It would be in Bongland. It would be considered haram, but you're not wrong. Although it just seems kind of funny, like it's these second-rate countries in in Latin America, even and in like Russia and even Soviet, former Soviet colonies too. Like here's a little funny excerpt as well. Last year, from a different article. Last year in Uzbekistan, the Interior Ministry issued a warning to parents that children's involvement in quadrobics, well, Therian by extension, but he's not said that,
Is that what
would be treated as parental neglect.
Oh,
Yeah, it's going a bit far. Next one. And one Russian politician, Vyacheslav Volodin, well, you can do me for my pronunciation, if you must, blamed the West for the trend of people dressing up as animals, calling it a quote-unquote dehumanization project.
Oh my goodness. Is that the weird sort of political nonsense that kind of skirt their way around what they're actually trying to say? Which is they don't want any kind of competing ideologies, religious or hobby ones, like a gathering of people. They're trying to limit that overall. That's what dictatorial countries do.
See, the problem here is going to be TikTok and social media. If you took those two away, this would spread as wide as much as it does.
Yeah, TikTok is a big deal.
I honestly can't wait to see one. I lost that.
No, you're not wrong. TikTok is pretty much the biggest, spreader of this sort of thing across.
I was going to spit out there that I wonder if Walmart's going to start selling cages for kids.
I bet you'd know who'd snap them up, and you'd basically use that as a as the doghouse.
I swear, there's too many.
Imagine that though. Another, that reminds me, like, do we have another big Therian question? Does the Therian sleep inside the bed, or does the Therian sleep inside the doghouse?
I guess it depends on if they're domesticated, because if you're a dog, then of course they would sleep inside, like, at the end of the mattress, right? Or maybe if they're an outdoor dog, yeah, they'd probably have a little house outside too.
Yeah, you just have to build one that's big enough for that sort of thing, but that stems the brakes. That's that's corollary to the matter at hand. But it's just kind of a funny thing that that Russia and the other Soviet colonies basically see therianthropy as and quadrobics as like some sort of moral panic. Like it's the whole rah rah, it's corrupting our children and teenagers.
Yeah, but wasn't Therian sort of like a thing in Russia for a few hundred years already or something?
Possibly, I mean, the history, like that sort of fascination with animals has a rich history, like throughout human civilization. But
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, like all that stuff just comes, probably butts head with Russian values or something. I don't know.
So, do you really think that like Russian politicians are in tune with the whole online Therian community? Like, do they really know what's going on there, or are they reaching?
Or they just
Or
think,
like,
it was like, oh, this is so foreign and to us. It looks so degenerate. Let's stamp it out.
right? Like from an outside lens. So I don't know how they're actually seeing this.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's just so
In that
it's
case,
just
they would have
so
started with
funny that countries like that have like the bigger, and therianthropy just takes off in countries like friggin' Russia and Argentina.
Well, it seems like they have a hopefully a community down there, so that's interesting.
Yeah, not gonna lie though, I actually would really raise a toast if or whatever or like celebrate. I mean, you thought therianthropy in Australia? Nah, I want to see therianthropy in El Salvador.
Yeah, well, now that it's actually safe to walk the streets of El Salvador, yeah. There's probably some El Salvadorian Therians out there.
What's next that we can tear it into?
All right. Okay, next thing before we go. Tershackle has another banger of a live comment. Perhaps they're afraid of repeating the Therian to communist dictatorship pipeline. Oh, yeah. Okay, so the next thing we're going to tear into is a whole nother sidetrack, completely different from Angles, but returning to the whole game thing. Okay, so Project Helix is, I don't know, like this is something we've just come up possibly very recently, and it's been touted, like this Project Helix thing as the successor of the Xbox Series S, Xbox Series X, new Xbox, the rival to the hypothetical PS6, whatever you want to call it. Right?
Okay, cool.
Yeah. It sounds cool as an idea on paper. Yeah. Because
at first, yeah.
That's the thing. Like, people play on consoles, people want consoles, and consoles have got to evolve. So this is what Xbox and Microsoft, well, their developers are doing now. So, like, on Thursday recently, the world was introduced to Project Helix, Microsoft's next-gen Xbox console that's supposedly a PC console hybrid. From author Sarah Heritage, it feels like the final nail in the coffin for the quote-unquote golden age of console. Right.
Okay.
And it's kind of weird thing because now, like, we've pretty much approached the hybridization of PC and console since the PS4 and Xbox One days, because of hardware.
Look,
is that what the mean? Like
the original Xbox, the original Xbox is literally a Pentium 3. That's it. It's a desktop computer that was stripped down and sold as a gaming console. That's what it was. So the fact that they're going to this point, it's like, well, no, I mean, the Xbox operating system was like, I think Windows 2000 just stripped down.
Right, and then they just made the operating system and that like just completely bespoke, so it basically hid away all its PC roots.
Yeah, So instead of adding two, all they've done, adding something new, all they've done is they said, "Oh, okay, we'll just throw all this shit back in again."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so but this whole thing, it might just be a total Y sort of thing. Like it's not even going to do much. Like for a couple of reasons, the author states the current gen never actually started.
True.
Right. So we're over 5 years into the life cycle of PS5 and Xbox Series X. Yet, what games have we actually had? Right. Like we've seen
Yeah,
the
that's
whole
the thing. There really
PS5
hasn't
has
been.
no games themes.
There hasn't been like a flagship kind of incredible wow game that's associated
Yeah.
with this new system. Like there really hasn't
Right.
been.
I have to
When it comes
wonder
to other systems, of course there were.
I've got a question.
Yeah.
Could it be that the idea of like producing a cinematic game has lost interest and instead just pushing out whatever slop is possible?
That's pretty much
Maybe,
the point
yeah.
that we're going to get
It
to
doesn't
right
have to
there.
be
Like,
cinematic.
point number 2 or 3, lack of cinematics, AA games and AI slop. Point there for AA games. Games are expensive to make nowadays. Take so long. Creativity is stifled. Games must make back a profit, so you must appeal to the masses. Well, you could probably make a game and like let it, sell it at a loss or whatever. You run your business, you do you, whatever. But that's the problem too. Like big developers are scared of taking risks, and indies are the only ones willing to step up to the plate. So it's the whole thing. Like it's the big
Or like
developers.
Concord incident.
Right, yes. Concord Incident, High Guard in particular as of late as well.
Yeah, you gotta love the DEI stuff that they decided to thrust into this industry. Went well, didn't it?
And that's just not a good business decision whatsoever. No one wants that. It's just going to lower sales. They're catering to an audience that doesn't exist.
No, seriously. I mean, it is funny because the best way to explain it would be as if a game publisher made a AAA version of the Joan of Arc story, and a bunch of people got stick up their ass because the main character is a woman and not a man. I mean, it's bloody ridiculous. But instead of turning around and going with the story, it's been all this weird ass nonsense. I mean, what about that Black Samurai thing? I mean, shit. Remember the controversial stuff that came out with that?
Right.
It's like they've decided, oh, we're not going to go follow a successful path. We're going to do whatever the hell we want and, fail miserably while doing so. Of course, it's going to fall off. I mean, the way it's going, there's actual good chance that consoles may end up, dropping down a peg or two.
Yeah, well, if the developers actually had an original idea instead of, piggy banking off of other people's and then ruining it, they could have come up with something on their own, which is actually a good story, and not having to rely on some leftist LGBT XYZ propaganda. Like they could have just had some creative people on the team and developed a cool game that people would like. That's all they had to do.
Was it Call of Duty where they had the basically realistic sort of game, realistic sort of fights and battles from history, and then they turned around and decided to do free running in their game. People are running around, they're jumping on the ground, they're rotating, they're jumping off buildings. They're not as you would in a combat situation, but as if you were running around the city and jumping off buildings, that sort of stuff for shits and giggles.
Right. I see what kind of game you're mentioning, and that's
I'm pretty sure it was Call of Duty. I'm pretty sure it wasn't Battlefield though.
It probably would have been something like Assassin's Creed. But anywho, that's not
Sweet Baby Inc. Yeah, thank you for destroying the gaming industry for everybody. Well, console.
Yeah. And of course, it's just the kind of thing too. Like the other points as well that what good is a console too if like they're incorporating big scale AI tools. Like Sony and that are basically putting in an AI assist that could either help you if not play the game outright for you.
Personal YouTube streamer or Twitch streamer.
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Your person, the game has become like a personal Twitch streamer, and and the console just plays itself for you. And there you go.
Okay,
You
look,
spent, yeah.
I'll admit this. If they could get far more realistic NPCs in the game that you interact with using a large language model, okay, good. Just as long as it doesn't break and start talking about, using its phone to call for a pizza in like a medieval setting, because that would be hilarious. But if it's to like help, play the game for you, you use a lot less power watching someone else play the game anyway. It just,
Yeah, it's like just people watching video game reactors. Sure, there's some entertainment in just watching the content of seeing how people go through levels and stuff, but it kind of is like the middleman of you not actually playing the game and just watching it happen.
Yeah, that's the only thing down there. That's the big shortfall down there. It's just it becomes like, what kind of experience are we getting at that point?
I'll be
It's-
honest.
If you just want to watch the game, I don't know, whatever. Sometimes that's what people do. It's like, I don't want to play football.
I'm sorry.
People watch football.
It would be funny if in 10 years' time, people are complaining about the fact of vintage gaming, quote unquote, because you actually have to play the game.
That would be a weird world to wake up to, but it might be. Might be. Like, oh, I want to watch Tetris. Oh, I don't want to play Tetris. No, I want to watch the champion play Tetris. Yeah, good for you. Nah, man. I still like playing Tetris. So maybe we're not quite there yet, but maybe for some communities it is.
And so you got to ask yourself, do we need the current generation of consoles? Here's what they got to say, This is the sort of thing that'll make you feel old, right? Like, the most heartbreaking realization is that we were fine where we were. PS4 Pro and Xbox One X era was great. Games looked incredible on your TV screen. There were instant classics that actually felt like a classic the moment you booted them up. Development times were brackets relatively sane, and the barrier to entry was affordable. Gaming was for everyone. Nowadays, the news of a next generation of console fills with dread. So what do you think? Like, do we even need the current generation of consoles, or has the novelty just worn off at this point?
I feel like we need physical media.
Yeah, look, at the moment, I don't think there's really much of a point moving forward with a new console series because it's just not a thing right now. And I really would have to ask, is it even plausible, at least for the next 2 or 3 years, to be able to produce, consoles that are affordable?
That is basically it. And affordability is one of the major selling points for console. Really,
imagine if a new console came on the market, it would probably be, let's be real, it would probably pop on the market like $6.99 or something, or more. $7.99. It would not be affordable to like people who are, paycheck to paycheck paying rent. Your typical gamer, like they wouldn't be like, all right, I'm not gonna spend $800 on a new console unless they save up for it.
Oh, hey, wait, why are you being so cheap, Vera? It's going to be like $2,000, $2,500.
Yeah, I'm being optimistic. Even optimistic doesn't look good. My goodness. So even if my optimistic estimate about $700 or $800, yeah, that's on the low end.
You're aiming too low for that.
That's way out of the affordability. That's out of the affordability then. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, if $2,000, that's like the rent in a lot of places.
I mean, look, I get the whole argument, between cost of opportunity costs and what have you, and value proposition, and that's another separate argument. But when you go, when you boil it down to brass tacks, and in the current climate that we've got, we have a freaking RAM crisis and all of that, and a whole slew of big problems to deal with. Do you think, do we really need a new console?
I think not for now. It's plenty advanced and entertainment-wise enough where we can make plenty of games that will still enthrall the audience. It doesn't have to be slightly upgraded just for a cash grab. I don't think you have to do that.
See, you get it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I was talking Noble.
Look, the only way to resolve the issue at the moment with consoles would be game companies actually producing, or the console manufacturers producing, a banger of a game. At least try to bring out 4 each year. No, wait, 4? Or is that asking too much?
I think in this current climate, it depends. Like, you've got I think the studios have to band together to be willing to take a risk, no matter how, the potential for losses or that can be.
I mean, and rightfully, for a console to be successful, it needs to have one main selling title that isn't available on the other one. I understand nowadays it's considered a bit selfish, but
it worked for the last 3 decades. It did. Look at Spyro the Dragon, or
Halo before it got figured out. Exactly.
Oh, another thing ruined by DEI.
All of it was. Yeah, Star Wars, and come on, there's a whole slew of list of things that were ruined by that crap. But the original core, all the good games that people used to love and play with, yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah. But
I wonder how they'd be successful with a Skibbity Doo game.
No, stop it. No, girl. No, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, but even then, like I look back at this and I'm thinking, do we? And I'm looking at it in the same light, and I'm asking myself, do we also need, the PlayStation 6? What is PlayStation 6 going to do after Xbox announced their new project? And yeah, I'm just looking at it and I'm saying to myself, nah.
They can't sell the consoles if they don't have the games.
Right, or like a good, or a good, incentive to draw the customer into buying the console, and therefore the games as a secondary, byproduct.
Uh-huh.
So yeah. Well, regardless, I think at this point we're just gonna be waiting to see what they come up with in the next, in the months ahead, and probably come up with another design that's, I don't know, maybe it's like as egregious as the one like last time when we dunked on the, the PlayStation 5 design when it first was announced.
I've got that. What's that game called? The one that was Finland or some European country, and it was basically American. It was funded by taxpayers.
Dustborn.
Yes, that's the one.
Do you regret your life choices for if you bought it? Or was taking one for the team worth it? Well,
I don't know.
Anywho. Yeah. Anywho. No? Yeah, go on. Yeah, sorry, I don't know. You don't sound too clear at the moment, so
yeah, Vera, you might need to hit your phone a couple of times. You're breaking up a lot.
Right. And so I think that's pretty much, we've come to the point in time where we've basically got all the time that we've used up for the show this week. Yeah.
How about
now? Not much better, but you know what? I suppose it is what it is, though, and it's probably a good time as any, if nothing else, to wrap things up. So, without any further ado, I suppose with Noble, what do you think about this week's stuff? Anything to wrap up with? Quick closing statement.
Pokemon Wind and Waves is probably blowing in the wind right now and will forever doing so. I'm not interested in that game.
I knew at some point somebody was not going to resist making a pun joke.
I can't help myself with that.
Hey,
The
well,
Therian thing, it's nice to see it pop up again like that, but I wonder if it's going to get to the point where you get the remember in the US it was furries and kitty litter boxes in the bathrooms at schools. That stupid thing going around for a while. And then the whole Xbox, the PlayStation, the Xbox Helix thing. I want to see it crash and burn, to be honest. I want to see Microsoft miserably fail at this, just like they failed with Windows 11 and AI.
Right.
If you've ever had to use Copilot to do something original, you will know how frustrating it is. I've tried to work with it myself, and I just bash my head into a screen because no.
It was just right. I think it was just too cumbersome.
You try to get it to do something that's novel, and it basically falls apart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, great. Anywho, I suppose that's all it is, though. If Avira was sounding okay, I probably would have gotten his statement from him, but he's doing the robot thing too damn.
Yeah. Ara?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, all right, perfect. Okay, you think you got a quick closing statement for this?
Yeah, finally able to get my my speaker back working. Well, this was an awesome show, guys. Thanks for having me on back again. Yeah, when it comes to the Argentina situation, I'm surprised they haven't had other stories about furries or Therians before, and it seems like the journalists can't really make quite the distinction between the two. So that's one thing to look out for. The 10th generation of Pokemon, I don't know, it's looking more generic, and it seems like they're running out of ideas. I don't know why we don't just go back to the original 9 generations we had before this and maybe advance upon those, or just keep it the way it is. Like, why is it that franchises like this have to keep on adding new characters and keep on building and building? Like, it's accelerating into eventually it's going to burn out. So
that's the sort of problem too. Like, because
what?
It's not Pokemon that has the same sort of like infinite, growth problem. Like at some point, like you make you make a game like this where your main premise is like creatures that you want to catch, and it's not just Pokemon, like Digimon, Palworld, and that. They're gonna run into this problem where they have to add more creatures to freshen up their premise.
Just to keep it relevant and keep on adding more. Even TV shows do this. Yeah, we've seen this quite a bit. So I'm just hoping that Pokemon and some of our other favorite franchises can somehow find a way to stabilize themselves so they don't have to keep on doing this. Sure, new Pokemons are cool, but you can make them more novel in a way. I feel like with better writing and better storytelling, there's probably ways to keep it profitable without being stagnant. And aside from that, there's nothing else I really got. So I'm just looking forward to the spring and summer. It's March, so we'll see if I don't get any more snow. That's pretty much it. God bless, guys.
All right, sweet as. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed that as much as we did making the show and all that. As always, you can find our episodes on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, Player FM, iHeartRadio, BitChute, and more down the line. Well, this is us signing off. Buenos dias. Until next time.
¿Por qué?
Bye.